Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bible Together. We are excited to be here, although this is going to be the second time we read through this chapter
For ourselves, yeah.
for ourselves for the recording. I've read it before, um, but we're picking up from where we left off with our mistake. If you watched last week's, you'll know that we had recorded this, and there was something really weird with the audio. There was an update to my recording software,
Yeah, we
and
sounded like chipmunks.
yeah, it made it sound like chipmunks. So we're here. We're happy to be back, and we're gonna look at Joshua 9. How are you doing?
Mm,
She's been a little sick,
yeah,
a little Polly.
a little sick. Not anyways. Um, I bet they could have watched the chipmunk version.
It was unintelligible.
It w yes, it was probably a little hard to understand.
I think
It's
we're
just
still a little bit of ways from where I could like throw it through an AI filter and make it work.
mhm. It's sad because 'cause I'm not sure we're gonna have the same thoughts that we had that first time.
Yeah, we had fun, but
Yeah.
there's always something new.
Mm.
My wife just started Joshua on her devotions, and she, on the way here this morning, said she had noticed something uh, during her reading time that she hadn't noticed, and we've literally just gone through this.
Yeah. Well, it didn't jump out to me that those times before, and it did this time. But God always has something for you every time you read it. Um I like in my Bible because when those things do jump out, I underline them. And when I read through it again, that's not always the statement that like pulls at me. So I thought about using a different color pin so I know, but I have a system of what my pin colors are. So I'm just highlighting new things.
Just put like a dot in the corner of the sentence and
I
then
can't
put
do
two
that now. I'm
dots
in
for the second.
Joshua now. I'm already.
As you go through it, when you see your underlines from the last time, just put a little dot in the corner of that one. And then when you're doing this one, you put two small dots.
Oh my gosh. There's not enough room for that.
Plenty of room for that.
There's,
That's how the Hebrew people added vowels.
okay.
If they can do it with every word, you can do it with your
I'll be all right, I
underline.
think.
I don't know if it was last week or if it was a couple weeks ago that we explained um, the rubber duck thing.
Hmm. I don't remember where you explained it. I don't know if it was in
I know it
Bible
was in
study.
Bible study, but I thought we did it here as well. But just real quick,
Mhm.
when I was learning how to do computer programming, we were told that you should keep a rubber duck or like an action figure or something on your desk because when there's problems with the code, for some reason, you just talking through it
Mhm.
always revealed the problem. And so I will do this from time to time working on projects. I'll fill my wife in on what I'm doing and try to get her up to speed in the code and what my problem is, which is functionally useless. But usually in the process of doing that, she's going, mm-hmm. And I figure out why I've been screaming at the computer for the last 2 weeks or whatever. And it's like I missed a period somewhere or a dot or a semicolon or something.
Mhm.
Um, this is if you can find a spouse that'll do this with you, it's much better than a rubber duck. Um,
I appreciate that, I think.
but this is essentially what we're doing with the Bible. You may see something new for the first time and bounce it off somebody else. It's quite helpful.
Yeah,
Or
it's really helpful.
you may think you figured something out, and then somebody asks a very simple question that, or says like, "Hey, did you remember this happened? Like, remember God said this would happen?" You're like, "Oh yeah,
Well, this is the thing that I always kind of expect when I'm at church is that people want to talk about things that they've read in the Bible. Or when we're at officers' councils, I always think that's going to happen in like our private conversations when we're out to dinner or things like that, but it
rarely."
rarely. Yeah.
We have one set of friends that it's pretty consistent with, and it's great.
Yeah.
If you can find people like that,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Cling to them. Don't
Yep,
let them go.
yep.
Okay.
But yeah, we're gonna jump into the Bible here into part 9, and yeah,
Now all the kings west of the Jordan River heard about what had happened. These were the kings of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, who lived in the hill country, in the western foothills, and along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, as far north as the Lebanon mountains. These kings combined their armies to fight as one
oh, sorry, I forgot to hit
against Joshua and the Israelites.
caught up.
But when the people of Gibeon heard that Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they resorted to deception to save themselves. They sent ambassadors to Joshua, loading their donkeys with weathered saddlebags and old patched wineskins. They put on worn out patched sandals and ragged clothes, and the bread they took with them was dry and moldy. When they arrived at the camp of Israel at Gilgal, they told Joshua and the men of Israel, "We have come from a distant land to ask you to make a peace treaty with us." The Israelites replied to these Hivites, "How do we know you don't live nearby? For if you do, we cannot make a treaty with you." They replied, "We are your servants." "But who are you?" Joshua demanded. "Where do you come from?" They answered, "Your servants have come from a very distant country. We have heard of the might of the Lord your God and all he did in Egypt. We have also heard what he did to the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, King Sihon of Heshbon and King Og of Bashan, who lived in Ashtaroth. So our elders and all our people instructed us, take supplies for a long journey, go meet with the people of Israel and tell them, we are your servants, please make a treaty with us. This bread was hot from the ovens when we left our homes, but now as you can see it is dry and moldy. These wineskins were new when we filled them, but now they are old and split open, and our clothing and our sandals are worn out from our very long journey. So the Israelites examined their food, but they did not consult the Lord. Dun, dun, dun. Then Joshua made a peace treaty with them and guaranteed their safety, and the leaders of the community ratified their agreement with a binding oath. 3 days after making the treaty, they learned that these people actually lived nearby. Shock. The Israelites set out at once to investigate and reached their towns in 3 days. The names of these towns were Gibeon, Kephirah, Beeroth, and Kiriath Jearim. But the Israelites did not attack the towns, for the Israelite leaders had made a vow to them in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. The people of Israel grumbled against their leaders because of the treaty, but the leaders replied, "Since we have sworn an oath in the presence of the Lord, the God of Israel, we cannot touch them. This is what we must do. We must let them live, for divine anger would come upon us if we broke our oath. Let them live." So they made them woodcutters and water carriers for the entire community, as the Israelite leaders directed. Joshua called together the Gibeonites and said, "Why did you lie to us? Why did you say that you live in a distant land when you live right here among us? May you be cursed. From now on, you will always be servants who cut wood and carry water for the house of my God." They replied, "We did it because we, your servants, were clearly told that the Lord your God commanded his servant Moses to give you this entire land and to destroy all the people living in it. So we feared greatly for our lives because of you. That is why we have done this. Now we are at your mercy. Do to us whatever you think is right." So Joshua did not allow the people of Israel to kill them. But that day he made the Gibeonites the woodcutters and water carriers for the community of Israel and for the altar of the Lord, wherever the Lord would choose to build it. And that is what they do to this day. Hmm. Where do we start? Deception.
Oh my goodness. I want to see something. I gotta change the setting on here real quick while we're talking about this. Where do you want to start?
I'm curious
Hold on.
to know of these kings at the beginning combined, how many people is that? Is that enough to face the Israelites?
I don't think so. Um, hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 peoples? All the kings west of the Jordan.
I guess, yeah, all the kings, that kind of makes sense.
6. Yeah, there's six different people groups here. Um,
I'm not sure because we kind of talked a bit about the numbers of the armies
we
the
did
week
we
before,
did
and
talk about the numbers,
it
but
seemed that they were incredibly lopsided.
Well, yeah, that was just one on
Right.
that was ridiculous.
But I think something that makes the Israelites famous throughout the Old Testament is how many of them there always are.
Mhm.
They're kind of like rabbits.
Well, that's what God said he would do.
Hmm?
He would make them numerous
But
as the
Egypt,
sand.
when they move to Egypt, the population grows so fast that the Pharaoh goes, they're going to outnumber us soon. So we're going to have to take them into slavery now.
Mhm.
So my guess is it would have been close.
Oh, that combined that they might have had a chance
Mhm.
against them.
But either way, um, you want to talk about the bread and the wineskins?
Yeah. So, even with the knowledge that 6 groups of people are coming together, I don't know if the Gibeonites know that the that all of the peoples in the land are combining,
Mm.
which is interesting. I'm curious if they ever I feel like they probably would have fought over time for land and resources, but they have a threat against all of them. So they combine together. They become allies
Yeah.
to fight this one.
I don't know if they would have fought a whole lot over land. I think at this period, the land isn't saturated. So you're mostly just saying like where boundaries are. Hey,
Mm.
this is my land. All right. Well,
But
you,
what is something that I guess it's the languages. Do you think they have different languages?
I
What separates them other than like a family
they're
ancestor?
tribes. That
Their
thinking of these
tribes.
as cities and nationalities is pretty like anachronistic. These are
Right.
tribes.
They probably would have all
They're just
spoken.
family groups.
Yeah.
Now, um, what we know from the writings of the time is they shared commonality, but there were different. So like different dialects.
Mhm.
Um, like I can go to Ireland or Scotland, right?
Yeah.
I can go to Newfoundland and barely understand. And any chance I have understanding,
You could do that in the United States though too.
right? I just as an example, like any chance I have of understanding people who are native English speakers in Scotland in a, a grocery store or in a restaurant or something of all Scottish people, like their accents are a lot thicker when they're together than they are one
Sure.
of them in the
Sure.
US, right? Or on a movie or something. The only chance I have is because of how much English media we consume.
Mhm.
And even then, I don't think it would help.
No.
I think of that clip from uh, what's the name of the guy with this Jonathan Ross
Oh yeah.
from his they have that
Uh,
Scottish comedian on,
and they
and they're
have
talking about
John
and John
Krasinski.
Krasinski, and they're talking about Alberta, and the Scottish comedian goes, "Oh, that's the home of Bret the Hitman Hart." Even the host, who's English,
Yeah.
the guests on the couch, and John Krasinski go, didn't get that. And he's
Yeah.
like, "What's not to get? It's a fact."
It was
And they're
hilarious.
like, "What?" And he goes, "It's the home of Brett." It just him talking in his normal, like just comfortable Scottish accent.
Unfiltered. Mhm.
People near him are going, that's tough." So this would have maybe been similar. They have different dialects. We see in their writing they have a base standard of a sort, but
Mhm.
there are parts of the languages. There's a couple languages in this area that have only started to be understood on they're finding like cuneiform, like cuneiform is like an alphabet that was used by using chisels, like lines,
Yeah. Yeah.
and carving different shaped lines into a thing. It's
Mhm.
really, really. It seems impossible to read,
But
and
I think advancements have happened lately because
computer science and
computers have.
computer vision and AI and stuff have helped make big
Yeah.
breakthroughs. But like, there's some of these languages that they've had that they know are based on these dialects, but they cannot translate.
Mhm.
So I think there's likely a common tongue and a way of communicating, but their tribes, they probably have a common ancestry based on that.
Right.
Um, Even the Hebrew language is not unique to Abraham's family. Like it's somewhat derivative of
Oh,
other languages. Uh,
interesting. I didn't know
There's
that.
like a um, there's biblical Hebrew, but there's like a proto Hebrew before that. That's probably not the right phrase. And it's a different alphabet. It's more pictographic. It's less like new or symbols for each letter or sound.
Mm,
Um, and it goes back probably to the Hurrian people. I'm guessing maybe
right.
somewhere in there of that region.
So,
Wineskins and bread. This is like the original Trojan horse. If not, then Abram saying to Pharaoh, "Oh, this is my sister. Let me live here," kind of thing. Like this, like idea of I'm just gonna rock up here in a disguise and destabilize this people.
well, I think it's incredibly clever. And I don't know if it's like the people of Gibeon are all clever or if it's maybe one individual who said this is what we need to do because it says it right there in verse 3. They heard what the people of Gibeon heard what Joshua did to Jericho and Ai and resorted to deception to save themselves because they know, it says later, even down here, that they're coming into the land to take everybody else out. They're not taking hostages. They're cleansing the land. They understand that. Um,
Excuse me.
and so instead of like they're the only logical thing to do instead of trying to fight like these six different groups at the beginning, they're like, no, we know God is a part of this. We're not going to win against him that way. So let's resort to the only thing that could possibly work. I mean, what else have we got to lose? Let's try let's try this and see if it works. Um it's just ridiculous though that it works.
It does seem insane. And I'm talking about Joshua writing down this account,
Yes,
going like, how much of this should I put in here?
because it is a mistake.
Should we write in that they had fake beards and fake no, we're gonna just talk about the bread and the wineskins? Okay. Like it's a disaster for them
Well, and it's his second mistake as a leader. And I don't think
that we
normally
know
in
of.
yeah, that we know. But because in the was it the last chapter where it talked about the stuff that happened? Yeah, that the
Aiken and AI and all
and
them.
AI, yeah. But I think it is important to write it down because as leaders can make mistakes. Um,
That's one of the things that lends evidence to the validity of the Bible is how many like culturally traumatic things they keep in
mhm,
where like and it's funny because a lot of historians they don't treat the Bible this way. Not a lot of historians. I think universally historians accept the Bible historically
mhm.
as a historical document as something that is valid for the Hebrew people in the same way that like an American textbook is only going to teach American history from a certain perspective. Like you
Yes.
grew up not learning about what Canadians did in World War II or World War One.
I mean,
We grew up learning about what Canadians did.
if we did learn anything, it was that you were our allies, and it's like usually like one sentences when we learn about what other countries did
No,
in
you were our allies.
yes, okay. So it is skewed. It is skewed from from our history books because our history books are always going to write
The best version of
the
our
best
perspective.
version, and they're not gonna write that we made mistakes. They're not gonna write those down as mistakes. They might say those were tactical errors.
So there's like interesting moments in history, in extra biblical history, where we see either accounts or omissions that are a little strange, and
Mm,
historians love it. So, for example, there's a record. There's a Babylonian cylinder. They recorded a lot of stuff on these tubes,
mm,
and you kind of read through it. There's a Babylonian cylinder that accounts for, I think it's Nebuchadnezzar's campaign against Israel. Um, and in that campaign, um, it's got this like hallway. It has this. There's this fancy place in Nineveh where I think it's in Nineveh where they record this amazing victory, and the pinnacle of it is Nebuchadnezzar's victory over this. random town in Israel.
Mhm.
I don't remember the name of the town. It's like Shiloh or something. It's not Jerusalem though. And you're going from a Christian perspective or from a Jewish perspective, like, why on earth do they care so much about that town? Why does it get like an entire wing of this chronicle of victory of warfare of King Nebuchadnezzar? It's because he failed at Jerusalem.
Mhm.
And so they stop the record at Nebuchadnezzar greatly victoriously being delivered by their gods, the second coolest city in Israel. And historians go, huh? Like, so whenever there's omissions, and there's a couple of accounts of like Nebuchadnezzar losing fights when his army is decimated by angels overnight, that kind of thing. Or like when they all die. So whenever there are mistakes recorded in history, people are usually really kind of fascinated by it. They're like, why would you write this down?
Yeah.
It was full of it.
I just think I just think that this form of deception is kind of hokey.
Yeah,
Like
nowadays it
like
would feel like it.
it does feel
It's,
like something that
Agent Smart instead of James Bond,
yeah, right, from Get Smart. I was gonna say like
Johnny English.
stop. I'm trying to think of the Monty Python
Yes.
ridiculous like, oh yeah, we've got old wineskins and moldy bread.
Oh, yeah, very much, um,
We're not from here very clearly.
we're on the quest for the Holy Grail. We've already got one! What? I told them we've already got one. Clever.
Okay, okay. But
Whose castle is this?
I'm
Sorry.
trying to figure out how they find them in 3 days. Like, do they follow them back or
Yeah, their town was around the corner, apparently. It feels like it. This is, the equivalent of, like, a tour guide meeting somebody, like, arriving on a boat, and they're like, "I desperately need a place to stay." "Oh, my cousin owns the inn," and then taking them over there and, like, stepping behind the counter and changing his hat. I mean, like, "What can I do for you?"
Yeah, yeah, that's really funny.
Like, jeez.
This bread was hot from the ovens when we left our homes.
You shoulda ate it then.
These wineskins were new when we filled them, but now they're old and split open, and our clothing, sandals worn out.
I don't know. I think we obviously take for advantage how durable everything we own is.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it would take a wineskin to go from fresh to bursting.
Well, but okay, say it was a long trip.
Yeah.
Like, if we're
Certainly the
talking
bread is
what would a
inconsequential.
long trip look like? Like a couple weeks? It would take a couple weeks for the wineskin to split and crack?
I
Like,
guess.
you'd be constantly making wineskins.
Yeah.
But I guess they have that resource because 'cause they're
So,
constantly
w
eating and sacrificing and
yeah, one of the things I looked into in preparing my sermon for this week
mm,
is what the value so Solomon sacrifices 120,000 goat and sheep, right? And I was curious, like, what is the approximate value to us today?
yeah,
And like cattle nowadays isn't super expensive. Like sheep and goats are not expensive animals to purchase.
but they are to keep.
And so like even just from head of cattle, like it's about $100 a head. So you're looking at like well $12 million.
Right now, today?
Yeah, to buy that many sheep and goats. But what's interesting is the value to them wasn't just like having the animal, right? It was meat, it was milk, it was skins and clothes, it was, like, a resource for breeding, so the value to the family, it could be heat in their home, like, it was a lot more than that,
Mm.
and so it's probably closer to, like, 40 to $50 million today, the value of the sheep that Solomon sacrifices.
But Solomon in his time, it says stuff about silver being so like, so plentiful
Yeah.
that it was almost
Well, there's a theory that,
useless.
almost all of the gold that exists on Earth has already been harvested, like, there's this theory that there's no, because it's a finite resource and it's so rare and the conditions are really specific.
Mhm.
And as a result, the value of it will start to shift.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you make it artificially?
I mean, you can, but
It takes
not
time. It's a time thing. It's not a
the only way I'm aware of it. It's a chemical reaction with other metals
okay.
and like some liquids, and so you have to take another finite resource and then it plates it in gold,
Right.
so it doesn't
Well, I was
actually
just thinking
like
because I think you can make
make
diamonds
gold.
artificially.
Yeah, but that's because they're made of dirt or like trees, right? Like
They're made out of
carbon,
coal. Yeah.
carbon, which is life.
But then, like, pressure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you have a tree, technically
I just didn't know.
you could get it.
I mean,
Diamond.
I know that gold, that's right, it has conditions, and I know how you kind of find it,
Comes from a chemical reaction, though, I think.
a chemical
Yeah.
reaction.
With
Well,
different.
that makes me think it could be made artificially,
Yeah. So right now, though, the idea is they plate stuff with it using chemical
but that would
reactions.
be bad if you made things
It's not very good.
artificially because it wouldn't be bad.
No, it's not very good. It would be bad. It could, if you can figure out a way to manufacture it like diamonds are made, like lab grown diamonds, lab grown gold,
Mhm.
it would destroy the value of it. This has nothing to do with what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
No.
Um, but my point was my point for the sermon is that that's how many sheep it took to make the first bound Bible.
Right.
Right? Like this is how hard it was to make written materials back then. Is they estimate that the first commissioned collection, like codex of the Bible, where it's pages front and back kind of thing,
Mhm.
it would have been vellum and it's sheepskin. And it would have
Oh,
taken about 100,000 sheep to do. So you couldn't just like
which is
crack
interesting
out copies of the
because
Bible, right?
I'm pretty sure in Asia they had paper,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Paper
was
doesn't last very long.
no. Yeah, you're right.
And so if you wanted it to be like a permanent book you could keep in a library,
Mhm.
you didn't make it out of paper or papyrus.
Right. And even in Asia, that wasn't. They weren't. I don't think they were making books until the 1500s.
The codex,
Maybe before that, but they had a lot of scrolls.
I don't know
I
about the
think
Asian.
everywhere
I feel
had
like
scrolls
a lot of
forever.
stuff was invented or discovered parallel in Eastern culture as
Mhm,
like in the Asian culture as it was in the Eastern cultures.
mhm,
So it's hard to say sometimes, but I do know that the need to circulate scripture was a driving force in the popularity of the book format.
mhm.
I don't know that you could say Christians like invented the codex, but they definitely radicalized it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
The codex just being like what we would call a book. It's got a binding, it's got pages with double-sided information. And
Mhm,
so it's a collection of works.
mm. So this verse 14 really jumps out. So the Israelites examined their food, but did not consult the Lord. Then Joshua made a peace treaty with them and guaranteed their safety. And the leaders of the community ratified the agreement with a binding oath, which the Lord says you should not do. You s-
That is in the Levitical law, right?
Yeah,
So that's why.
yeah, you shouldn't make oaths. Uh,
Um, I just got a real cryptic text message.
from who?
Robert,
Oh,
he called me and asked him if I could call him back because we were in the middle of
you
something.
need to do that. We can't
And he said, I'll pray for you.
for you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anywho, so yeah, they're told not to make these agreements, and I wonder why.
Well, and so this part, they did not consult the Lord. That's pretty important because anytime you're faced with anything, I I wonder how often your first thought is, "Oh, I need to talk to God about this." And even like I'm not just everything. Anything that comes up, like even I struggle with it from time to time when I have something that happens to me, like in the very moment, my first thought isn't always, "I need to pray about this." It's getting better, but yeah, sometimes I still have like, "Oh, this is
Yeah,
so
we were
frustrating,"
kind of
or
talking about this yesterday. Our like my spiritual formation group, there was a scripture that came up in it that talked about figuring out what God pleases God by basically trying and then reviewing it with God, like living your life in a way where you're checking at the end of every day,
Mhm.
was my life pleasing to God? Hey God, what do you think? How did it go?
Yeah.
And using that to like get to know God and to live a better life.
Mhm.
The other thing, uh, make no oath. One of the things I found interesting in as I was researching last week or for sermon this week is um the list of things that is missing from Zerubbabel's temple, from the temple after Solomon's temple when they rebuild the first time.
So after they've
So
been to
the
Babylon,
remnant comes back,
yeah,
right? And they
and they build and
Ezra and Nehemiah and like
yeah,
that whole band of
they rebuild it. Yeah,
happy merry folk. Um, there's a ton of stuff missing from that temple, from the first temple. Like the Ark of the
yeah,
Covenant obviously is not there. There's great doors I don't think are there anymore, so it's just the veil now. But one of the things that's missing is the Urim and the Thummim. I think that's what they're called.
Urim, Urim,
Urim and the Thummim.
Thum. I'm pretty sure it's Urim.
Thummim.
I just Thummim.
But it specifically listed them as tools used for divining the will of God.
Right. Yeah, Urim and Thummim.
But that is something that is laid out, I believe, during the tabernacle.
Yes, I think so.
So what the heck was happening here? They have an instruction set for checking with God. They literally have utensils to help do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing mystical about these tools. Like I don't think that this is God's like following the instruction of the tools, which is what usually happens when people who get into things like tarot and
Mm.
Ouija and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what you believe is happening isn't that you're divining information, but that by doing this, you're creating destiny, like you're dictating that information.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's easy to look at any sort of mysticism like that.
Yeah.
But what's happening is God has equipped them with a tool to help remind them to come to him.
Yeah.
And then he can use those tools to reveal his will, or he can just tell them in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
They have a system to remind them, hey, if you don't know what to do, talk to God. And if you don't know how to do it, I've got these tools for you and the priests to use to figure it out.
You said that the Ark of the Covenant was gone for the second.
Mm-hmm.
Where did where does it say what happened to it? Does it?
It's taken away, right? Like it's
Well, I know.
the temple's sacked. We've looked into this
Yeah, I know we've
because
looked
it's
into
actually
it.
quite big.
I'm just trying to. I I don't think I put it together that it wasn't there.
Oh, right. So it's interesting because the veil and the Holy of Holies in the temple isn't just a veil; it's a massive set of gold-plated doors, right?
But
And
there is a veil though.
there is a veil behind the doors
Okay, yeah.
or in front of the doors. I'm not sure which.
I thought it was in front of
Um,
the doors.
but it's one of the reasons God is finally done. Uh, so when they destroy the first temple,
But there's just a veil in the
Babylon,
tabernacle.
when they destroy the first temple, Babylon ransacks it and
Mm-hmm.
wipes it out, right?
Yeah.
Um, the ark is
Because
lost at this time.
everything is covered in gold.
Right.
So much gold in Solomon's temple.
And Hezekiah, as a
Gold and
flex
bronze
of his
and
wealth, gives the Babylonian leadership a tour
Mhm.
and then melts down the gold from the doors and
Yeah.
gives it to them.
He does?
Yeah, it's awful. And this is where God goes,
I mean,
I'm done, right?
I
Like,
know he gives them a tour, and Isaiah comes to him and is like, "What the
yeah.
heck, you idiot."
And it's like, hey, look how wealthy I am. But one of the problems is they donate the gold from the doors
I
of
didn't
the
know it was from the
Holy
doors.
of
I thought that
Holies.
they gave him all the plates and
Lots of
stuff.
stuff, but
Yeah.
that's part of it.
The plates and the utensils and the holy
I'm
things.
pretty sure this is what happens. And
I can't remember them melting it. I thought that was a repercussion of after when they came and
well, so
took
then eventually
everything.
they do ransack the temple, getting
Yeah,
all the wealth,
they
and
take
the
everything.
ark goes missing at that point. There's no record of it after that.
Yeah.
Some people think Josiah hid it at some point, but I don't know. I think that's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Either way, it's gone. So why do you have the Holy of Holies is there because the Ark of the Covenant, the seat for God,
Mhm.
is there, and so this is God's room, and the
Yep.
veil protects you
Yep.
from that presence. If the ark's not there, why even
Why
bother having
have
the
the
veil?
temple? Why have the
But you wonder why the Hebrew people are so like distraught when they come back, like they're finally home, but they never really get that like this fervor we see
Yeah,
back. Well, the temple is really just a poor shadow of what it was.
right.
Architecturally, when Herod rebuilds it, it becomes very grand and attractive, but I don't think it ever
No,
even
I don't think it could
well,
ever come back to the grandeur, the
yeah,
splendor of
because we
the
know that
original.
Herod puts a lot of gold back into it.
Well, when they rebuild, I there are people that saw it before. Even
Oh, yeah, and
though
they're quite sad, right?
yeah, they're quite sad because they know it's even though it's wonderful that it's rebuilt, that it's just not the
Do
same.
you know if when they finish the second temple, the Holy Spirit does this thing like he does in the first temple?
Think
I don't
so.
think so either.
It's only written in for Solomon, which is just really cool. I mean,
We're talking about it a bit on Sunday.
I don't think a lot of people understand. Like the people have chosen a king, which is not what
God
God
wants.
wants. Um, but he loves David. He loves Solomon, and he's chosen to say, "Okay, this is where I will dwell. I will dwell in this building you have made for me." Um, yeah, and it's really cool, and I don't think enough people take notice of it.
I just
Well,
like that the priests are given extremely strict instructions to
mm,
do this day and night. Like there's a changing of the guard, but there's at no point where there's no attendant working.
mhm,
And then when it's finished, God shows up and they have to bail out. They're like, "Whoa,
mhm.
you told us to do this day and night, but we have to run out because we can't see anything."
Yeah. I wanted to say something about one of these Gibeonite towns.
hmm
I've gotta find it though, because I
Hivites,
just
Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites.
um the very last city, Kiriath Jearim, is where the Ark of the Covenant was kept until the time of David,
Hmm.
when he moved it from this city to Jerusalem. So it's kind of interesting that one of these towns still exists to the time of David,
Hmm.
and that it is the resting place of the Ark for I'm assuming for a long time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
From Joshua to David, that's a bit of time.
Mhm.
I don't know how much.
I know one of the things we talked about last week is why these people didn't just flee. We've
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
seen
Why?
the steamroll of
And
the
I think
Israelites across the countryside.
because they knew they were coming. And what did we say? Was it something about
So
like,
I
"This
kind
is
of talked about,
comfortable, this is what they've always known, why am
but
I"
loyalty is a weird thing for humans, I think. We are fiercely loyal to the wrong things.
Yeah.
Um, and I gave an example of a friend of mine who was at a church and the pastor was, they thought, really like destroying the church. And there was another one of their denomination, like just up the road. And I remember telling them, like, just go to the other church. But they said, no, I grew up here. This is where my family grew up. This is my church. And I was like, okay, well, you've tried to fight for it. You've asked your church leadership to deal with it. They're not doing anything. You're not being fed. You're going to a morning of what's supposed to be worship and reverence, angry for years. There comes a point when you have to go, it's just a building and I'm not being fed spiritually. Go somewhere else. Um, and like, so we're loyal to the place more than to the purpose a lot of the time. I can take the purpose of home with me. Like people always ask us, what's home for you?
No, it's wherever our family is.
Right. And so like it's like I don't work with my wife and kids. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
Um, home isn't a location. It's not a building for me.
It's not where your stuff is. It's
No.
where your it's where your heart is.
They're like, well, yeah, but like, what do you, what would you call it? Where'd you go back to go back
Oh,
home?
like
Like,
your
that's not a thing for us.
yeah.
It's our
It's
home is
not
here.
because both our families we're both from officer families, and we don't have
We move around.
we're like gypsies.
Yeah. Did you shrink that man?
We're musical too.
And so it's that may be like a politically incorrect term nowadays.
Yeah,
I have no
sorry.
idea.
I didn't mean it offensively.
No, I
I
know.
just thought that we move around a lot.
Yeah. And but we make home for ourselves.
Mhm.
And so, and honestly, like this is true of countries too,
Mhm.
right? People are fiercely loyal to their country, which
To
is
the land.
great.
Yeah.
But if you're a Christian, are you loyal to your country because God told you to like work and be a part of your country and respect your government and try to like build up a Christian place?
Mhm.
Or are you loyal to your country because, and that comes first. I mean, so I've had discussions with people that are it's like, does God and country, which comes first? You say God, but most people behave more like their country is first.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Um,
Their patriotism is almost like a religion.
yeah, and it's good. Like patriotism is good.
Yeah,
You
it's good.
want to have people who are willing to defend your country. You want to have a country that is worth caring about.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, because it's here and now and it's almost tangible, it tends to eventually become, instead of God
An
and
idol.
country, it becomes God and country and they're backwards.
Yeah,
Um, and that's so yeah, loyalty is kind of a weird thing, I think, for humans.
yeah. I think we talked about, because we talked about if there was ever a reason why we couldn't have running water or electricity, and for some reason we had to live off the land.
We'd be done for.
And it's not like I'm I'm not a prepper, but sometimes I think like if we ever had to,
Where would we go?
where would we go and could we survive? And I don't think we could.
Mhm.
I don't think we could survive off of any skills. Like I don't even know what to do to go camping. Like I mean, based off of what I learned as a
I know
sunbeam, but even
just
that is gone, I think.
from my perspective, you would have not washed your hair for like 2 days and you'd lose your mind.
But I would live. It's more like
She wouldn't have.
can I get food and water? Can I how would we survive?
Sure.
I know we need food and
I
water.
really don't think that's a reality for these people though. That's every day. Where's food gonna come
I
from?
know that, but if they have to leave their land, they have to leave their crops,
Take a
they have to
goat.
go far enough to get away from the Israelites to a land they don't know. The thing is, when you live off the land, you have to live off your crops, and they don't have a way of preserving that. I
These
mean,
are not a very agricultural people yet.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it would be easier than to travel far away to flee. It'd be easier to
To
not flee.
subject yourself to slavery.
Yes, like you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna be able to take your little ones, your people. They have been traveling in the desert for 40 years. They know how to
True.
move en masse.
Yeah.
The people that live in these cities around, they've lived there for a while. They don't have that knowledge of how to move their whole life, their
Mm.
children, their stuff, their animals. They don't know how to move in mass and how to survive in that way and how to feed everyone on the go.
Yeah.
So it'd be easier to try and get away with this deception
Sure. Yeah.
than
That's
be
fair.
slaughtered. Just wait for them to come take you out. I think it's clever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
I know it says deception, but my gosh, what else are you going to do? Like, I
We're
don't
not endorsing deception.
no, I'm not, but God said, "Come and wipe these people out." I don't know what would have been easier for them unless they had said, we've heard about this God. We'd like to worship him. Um, please don't kill us." You know, what else could they have done?
Sorry, I just took a glance at chapter 10. Um, and the guy, king of Jerusalem at the time, his name is Adonai Zedek,
Yep.
and I'm going to go out on a limb, and that's got to be a descendant of Melchizedek.
You think so?
Melchizedek was the king of Salem. That he was the king of Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's true. We're not in chapter 10
No,
yet.
we'll talk about that later. Um, sorry.
That is a limb, though. We have to look that up first.
Yeah.
Okay, so they made the treaty with them, and the people were angry. Like, why are we keeping this? We know what the Lord told us, but they did make the treaty, and they have to keep their word. So the leaders are like, "Yeah, we can't kill him." Do you remember? Was it yesterday in Bible study you were talking about people who struggle with a particular sin are much
Yes.
harder on people that display that sin
Yeah.
themselves. And here Josh was like, "Why did you lie to us?"
Yeah.
And I think here he realizes he's made a mistake. He hasn't consulted the Lord. He hasn't gone to Eleazar and said, ask what.
Yeah, you're right. It exposed something in Joshua.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, if you can learn to
May you
recognize this and control this in your life, you will be a much better person.
yeah.
Um,
'Cause he even I feel like in his anger, "May you be cursed.
yeah.
May you be
It's
cursed."
like, well, now hold up. You just cursed your woodcutters and your water
Yeah,
carriers.
that's not good. You need
Now what
them.
happens?
Yeah,
Words mean stuff.
yeah,
You can't just throw things around.
yeah.
I had this argument with an officer colleague
Mhm.
about, we talked about this briefly a couple weeks ago in Bible study about cussing.
Oh, yeah.
And their philosophy was words are sort of a social construct. They mean whatever we think they mean. So there's no word can be inherently evil because it's just whatever we made up, whatever it means
Oh
to
my
us,
gosh, you get a
right?
child to say, "You know it's evil."
Right. And that's where I said, my belief is you could tell that it's evil based on how adults act around children.
Mhm,
Like people who have never had a sense of like never had a good moral example in their life,
mhm.
they will whisper cuss words when there's kids around,
Yeah,
right? Like,
for the most part, I think.
yeah. That and so how you speak out loud should probably be the same regardless of whether you're with children or not.
Yeah.
Um, but my point in all that is there's so many examples in the Bible where words aren't just a social construct. Guess what? You made an oath. If words didn't really mean anything, then God wouldn't hold you accountable to what you said. If
Mhm.
there was no intrinsic value in words, then God wouldn't hold you accountable to what you said. There
There's
wouldn't be
lots
a
of
whole
scripture
section of
that talks
James,
about we will be held accountable for the things we
right?
say,
So Joshua,
and that we should control our tongues.
guess what? You screwed up big time,
Yeah.
but you made an oath.
Mhm.
You We've got to keep it. It's going to be best case scenario poisoning to you,
Yeah.
right? Having the Canaanite culture around you people is going to be bad, but you've got to keep your oath.
So it says, as a result, they made them woodcutters and water carriers. Like, was there was there more to that? Like, not only are you woodcutters and water carriers, you now, as you are Gentiles among us, do they have to live by God's word? Do they have to align themselves fully with what?
That's a great question.
Because otherwise, if they don't, then yes, they're going to fall to their customs, their their ways. If they don't make the Gibeonites fall in line with their culture, then yeah, they're gonna. It doesn't really tell us that they do that, but I'm wondering if because they become basically slaves, that that's just understood.
I think so because there is Levitical law about how to work with slaves, how to handle slaves. There's even Levitical law about how to incorporate other peoples into their societies,
Yeah.
what they are and aren't allowed to do. Because, like,
Mhm.
fundamentally, it was the Israelites' job to show a godly community to the world and share that with them. I don't know that it was the Israelites' job to grow by assimilating other cultures, but I think what God is intending when he says you're a priesthood of believers is this is what the right community should look like. This is what a holy community should look like.
Mhm.
Let others learn from you and build around that. Teach them about God, show them God, and have them build their own culture in that model,
Yeah.
not bring all of your cultures in. I don't think so because the instructions in the Levitical law that I remember around dealing with aliens and bringing in other people and bringing in slaves are really, really, really restrictive.
Mhm.
Um, I looked up the word for woodcutter,
Okay.
and because I wondered if it implied any sort of craftsmanship, but no, it's literally just like a hewer, wood hewer. The word is katav,
Hmm.
and it's yeah,
Yeah.
just means to cut,
Well,
just chopping wood all day.
and so they reply to this curse, this what Joshua has said to them. We did it because we, your servants, were clearly told that the Lord your God commanded his servant Moses to give you this entire land and destroy all the people living in it. So we feared greatly for our lives because of you. That is why we have done this. Now we are at your mercy. Do to us whatever you think is right. That's a pretty, like, Even though they know that Joshua has to live by the oath that he's made and the leaders, that statement there, "Do to us whatever you think is right," is pretty, like I mean, that could mean a lot of things. That could mean, like, even though we know we've made this oath, you could make they could make their lives miserable, like, as miserable as they were in Egypt, like, or worse, um, if that's possible. Whatever you think is right. Maybe, though, what they're saying there, though, whatever you think is right, knowing that they have a holy God, that means they have to do what is right.
Mhm.
It could mean a couple of things, I'm not
I think
sure.
that's probably true, like, "You'll do what is right." It's kinda like
Is it a, like, backhanded comment, or is it like,
I think
"We're
it's
at your
like
mercy."
what is right is merciful and kind. It's like picking up a $5 bill and turning it in. In the back of your mind, you're kinda hoping you did the right thing,
They're gonna give it to
they're
you?
gonna give it back to you.
Um,
You do what's right, and be so like, "Hey, you do what's right." What's right is probably to take mercy on us. Okay, fine, we'll leave you alive, but you're gonna be our slaves.
this is the kind of people that this is a kind of comment that
They're a shrewd
deceptive
people.
people, shrewd people make, yeah. This is somebody who you think you're playing checkers with, but you're actually playing chess and you didn't know it.
Yeah. It has been about almost an hour, and, I this chapter is really interesting. There's so much going on, but, I can't think of anything else that we spoke about before.
No, I think we covered everything. I just I like chapters like this because I think if you at first glance you might not think there's much there, but there's so much there if
Mhm.
you just take time to look.
Well, I think it's easy to read through some of these and be like, "I don't know why this is in here." Like,
Yeah.
as a 21st century Christian, what the heck am I doing with
Mm.
this? Don't make oaths, um, with
Yeah, just
people
don't.
that you can't keep.
Well, and it's better that you don't
Just
make
don't do it.
oaths, that you don't make
If you're a man of your word, a woman of your word, then when you say, "Yeah," then that means yes. You don't need to make a swear or make an oath. Like, don't need to swear on the Bible or anything like
Yeah,
that.
you really shouldn't do
Um,
you think it's like would you say that you should even make promises?
I don't think you should have to,
Yeah.
because a promise inherently applies anything leading up to that isn't as reliable.
Okay, I'll
If
give an
somebody
example.
says,
We were it was a couple appointments back, and I had this group of ladies who had a garage sale every year. And in order to make that happen, they used one of the rooms in our building to store stuff for the garage sale all year. They used it all year, filled it to the brim from floor to ceiling. And I think it was our first year there. I can't remember exactly. And one of them said, "Will you please clear out that room so we can start collecting things for the garage sale? We need to start doing that." So they said, "Can you please make that happen?" And I stupidly said, "I promise I will make that happen by the next meeting," which would have been a month later.
she was like 8 months pregnant
I was,
with
I
twins.
think I was very pregnant then. Yeah. Um, I made a promise and I said, "I'll get it done." Well, the next meeting comes around and I hadn't got it done. And I remember the look on the lady's face. She's like, "You promised, you gave your word." I remember feeling awful that I hadn't kept it, that I hadn't done it. Like I still think about it to this day, that I hadn't I mean, yes, I had a lot of things, but I did promise.
But okay, it's a fairly unique situation, right? Where we're moving into a place, you're trying
It
to
is
make a
unique.
good impression. There's a
It's
lot, and
still
you just don't know what's going
I
on.
shouldn't have promised.
My
I
point
should have
is,
said, "I'll do
promises
my very best."
promises exist because the nature of mankind has always been somewhat unreliable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I say I'll pick you up at the airport, I'll be there at 6,
Oh, I believe you. I know you're good.
but
You don't need to promise.
that does imply in this conversation that I'm going to be trying to accomplish that, and it's not
It's not a
necessarily gonna
guarantee.
be like, yeah, because I said, "Yeah, I'll be there, I'll pick you up at 6." It might be 6:05, it might be
Oh, I
right?
see.
In
Okay.
my
It's not
character, it's more
definitive.
likely for me to be there at 5:30,
Yeah.
but that's for that situation. That's not true of everything in my life.
Mhm.
And so, that's why she was grimacing or giggling at me a bit. But if I say, I promise I'll be there, right? In reality, you shouldn't need to do that. If you
No.
say, if you're a person of your word as you're called to be,
Well, and
then just do
they
it.
didn't know me at that time, so
Right.
I
Now
didn't
you're
have that
rebuilding
to build off
trust, and
of.
that's a whole
Yeah.
problem. So yeah, you're right. I don't think you should be making promises because
No.
it shouldn't be necessary. You
Yeah.
should be like, so David Mitchell, right? He's
A British
a
comedian.
British comedian, historian. He's wrote a couple books. I was reading one of his books, and it starts with his frustration. He's not a very sociable person
Mm-mm.
around the construct in human politeness, and how if somebody says, "Hey, I'm hosting a party, can you come?" And you go, "Yeah, yeah, I'll try to be there," or you're gonna make up an excuse because just saying to their face, "No, that doesn't sound like something I would enjoy,"
Yeah.
is unacceptable.
Oh, telling the truth.
Yes. Just telling the truth
Mhm.
was unacceptable. So we like in our society, there's all these constructs that exist
Oh,
because as a people, we care more about making conversations easy than we do about them being good.
I can give an example. Wha Before we were married, I lived with my sister in an apartment, and our people we worked with from DHQ lived a kind of across the street in a different set of apartments, and I had a friend, and I remember asking her, like, I got this shirt, and I was over at her place, and I got this shirt, and I said, "What do you think of this shirt? It's nice, right?" And she was like, "No, it looks terrible on you." And I remember being devastated, but it was the truth. Like, it was the truth as she knew it. But it was the truth, and I remember, like, I still remember feeling, like, really grumpy towards that friend 'cause she told the truth.
But you don't want to go
I
around
never
wearing
wore
something that
that
makes you
shirt
look bad.
again.
Yeah. So we have all these like layers of it's almost like how accurate am I with my word? It's like weather forecasting, right? Like it's gonna
Mhm.
rain somewhere, but
Yeah,
it's gonna rain.
yeah.
Um, we have all these layers in our conversations that are designed really to protect people's feelings. And it
Mhm.
would be way, way, way better if we could just be truthful all the
What
time.
if people could receive the truth?
Yes.
Mm,
Right.
that's difficult
It would be much better.
because you'd have to know every person and
But
whether or not they could receive
I
truth.
think that that is what manifests itself into we have, yes, I'll do it. Or we have, I'll try, no problem, I promise.
Mhm.
Right. It's all saying the same thing, but
Yeah.
we've created these buffer zones and they're
Mhm.
just not healthy. I don't
S
think we should be making promises
Don't
because
make
people should just be able to
promises.
trust us.
Yeah. It should be in your character.
Mhm.
If you're a Christian and you're living out Christ in you, you won't need to make promises. People will rely and trust in
Yeah.
you.
Like I told somebody I would call them back in about 45 minutes. And as soon as I sent it, I was like, I probably should have given them more time because I don't know how long this was going to take.
Mhm.
Um, and, and now I'm going to call and be like, sorry. And so you're like, I'm already planning to tell them why I was late to a phone call. Not that it's a big deal.
But I think them knowing your character,
Oh, hopefully
you
we're
might
still
not have
learning.
you shouldn't have, like,
That being said, I do have to go.
yeah, same.
Um, so hopefully you enjoyed this and you got something out of it. Go read chapter 9. Chapter 10 is looking mighty interesting. These like I said, I said this last week, but I don't know if I finished it because it didn't get uploaded properly. These may get a little sparse as we get into Christmas, into the bell ringing and the angel tree season. We just don't know.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we
try and
don't know
record a
when we
bunch
can
up front,
record.
but I don't know when that's gonna happen. So just be patient with us. They will be back at some point, and we'll
Mhm.
continue to work through Joshua together.
Yeah.
Have a great week. Let's pray, and we will hopefully see you all in church on Sunday if you're in the Houston area. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for this opportunity to come together. Please just be with each person. Bless their family if they're watching this video. Bless their efforts, their needs, if they need health, if they need finances, if they need food, whatever it is, Lord, I just ask that you are providing for them and they are leaning on you for all of their strength and all of their needs. And so until we come back together, keep them in your will, bring us all together for worship and fellowship somewhere with other believers, and help us to all grow in your word and in character that is closer to you. We love you and we thank you for this technology and the ability to do this. Just ask that we don't ever take it for granted. Amen. All right. Have a great week. We'll catch up later.
Yes.